America's most iconic arts venue is at the center of a political firestorm, the Kennedy Center. A Christmas Eve jazz tradition was canceled, and now a blistering rebuke from the man running the institution. The fallout began after jazz musician Chuck Red called off his annual Christmas Eve Jazz Jam, a free concert, a nearly 20-year tradition. Red says he pulled out after seeing the building renamed to include President Donald Trump's name. Red told AP he has performed at the Kennedy Center since the very beginning of his career and that the renaming crossed a line he couldn't ignore. The response came swiftly and sharply. The Kennedy Center's president, Richard Grenell, fired back in a formal letter, one that leaves little room for artistic disagreement. Grenell accuses Red of what he calls classic intolerance, writing that the cancellation was a last-minute withdrawal explicitly tied to the renaming and very costly to a nonprofit arts institution. Grenell praises President Trump's leadership, crediting him with what he describes as extraordinary efforts to save this national treasure. The letter underscores Trump's new role as chairman of the Kennedy Center Board, a position approved by a Trump-appointed board early in his second term. And then comes the warning. Grenell warned Red that the center will seek $1 million in damages, calling the canceled concert a political stunt with real financial consequences. The Kennedy Center name change followed a vote by the Board of Trustees to rename the venue for both John F. Kennedy and Donald Trump. Within hours, the website was updated. By the next day, new signage was mounted on the building itself. The backlash was immediate. Members of the Kennedy family, Democratic lawmakers, patrons of the historic center. A Democratic congresswoman has now filed a lawsuit challenging whether the board even has the authority to rename a building Congress designated in 1964 as a memorial to the 35th president.
I am bringing this to you live today because what you may hear is that there was a unanimous vote to rename the Kennedy Center the Trump Center. Be clear, I was on that call. And as I tried to push my button to voice my concern, to ask questions, and certainly not to vote in support of this, I was muted.
Here's the controversy. The Kennedy Center isn't just another venue. After John F. Kennedy was assassinated in 1963, Congress designated the center as a living memorial to him. That law explicitly bars the board from turning the center into a memorial for anyone else or adding another name to the exterior. JFK's niece, Carrie Kennedy, has vowed to remove Trump's name once he leaves office. Former House historian Ray Smock and other scholars say any such change would require congressional approval, something that hasn't happened. Trump has taken a far more hands-on role in his second term, forcing out leadership, reshaping the board, installing himself as its head, and personally hosting this year's Kennedy Center honors. The administration frames it as a pushback against woke culture in federal arts institutions. And this is not an isolated protest. High-profile artists including Issa Rae, Renee Fleming, Shonda Rhimes, and Ben Folds have resigned from leadership roles or canceled events. Even Jeffrey Seller, producer of Hamilton, scrapped the show's planned Kennedy Center run earlier this year. The financial impact is already visible. This holiday season, the Nutcracker, historically a Kennedy Center cash cow, sold 10,000 seats across 7 performances. That's down from about 15,000 per year in recent seasons. Internal sales data reportedly shows the production falling nearly $500,000 short of its $1.5 million revenue goal. So this Christmas, the music stopped, but the culture war only got louder. At the Kennedy Center, the fight is no longer just about art. It's about identity, politics, and who gets to define America's cultural stage.